we've had an opportunity to have some lovely time outside in the beautiful hot weather that we've been having. Oh, my name's Kirsten Wilson, and I'm the chair of the Coquitlam River Watershed Society board. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome our core committee society members, the sector representatives, the directors, the roundtable community in general at large. And I'm not sure if I see anyone that I'm possibly missing. And just welcome you all to our 2025 annual general meeting, our second annual general meeting as a society. And though we're holding this meeting virtually, I'm speaking to you from the traditional and unceded territories of the Coquitlam First Nations, and I'm very grateful to be able to work, live, and play in these lands. And so we've established that we have quorum from the attendance that we have here today, which is fantastic. So we can go ahead and start and have the meeting, first of all. And then I'd like to first start with a vote to adopt the minutes of the October 9th, 2024 AGM. And those, hopefully you've had a chance to look at the minutes and review them. May I have a show of hands of those that are willing to adopt the meetings from last meeting? I have 1, 2. Yeah, I believe that is good. I have a show of hands, so that's everyone. Let's just see here. So we're all in favor. Any dissenters? Okay, so the vote has passed to adopt the minutes of the meeting. Thank you very much, everyone. So now we're going to move on, and I think I'm just going with some paper and off the computer here. We're going to go ahead and have our executive directors report and highlights for 2024 and 2025. Georgia?
Okay, thanks, Kirsten. And thanks everyone for joining tonight. Appreciate it on a summer evening. But yeah, we'll get through this pretty quickly here. I'm just going to provide some highlights of 2024, so the latter half of 2024 mostly, and then what we've been accomplishing in the beginning part of 2025. So we had a great outreach year for 2024. We attended Canada Day, Earth Day, Salmon Day at Slattelam, Salmon Come Home. And we had a great big, our sort of flagship outreach event was, took place on BC Rivers Day. And many of you attended. Thank you for that lovely event. It was to restore our rain garden. We also installed this beautiful new mural with the help of artist Jenny Kwok at the on the field house. And we received a beautiful blessing from members of the Coquitlam First Nation. We also had a Canada Summer Jobs student that year, and so we produced 4 new videos as well as a few reels on some of the outreach events that we had. So that was a great opportunity for sharing information and just making people aware of what we're doing. We had a great cleanup event, even though it poured buckets of rain at the end of July. We had a lovely cleanup event in Gates Park with QMC water meters, who remain really great supporters of the roundtable. And we have some great presentations for the core committee. So we started off the year in January with Lane Myrie, who presented on the pilot project that Kwantlen and the Coquitlam First Nations were working on to look at bacterial pathogens and toxicity in the watershed. Then we had Nina Bader from Foresight talk about collaborative networks for sustainable water use. In May, I presented some updates to the society just on sort of where we were at with the organizational transition. And in September, we had an update on the water main project that's being undertaken by Metro Vancouver. And finally, in November, we had a presentation on the Lower Coquitlam River Watershed Plan, which set us up well for the work planning session that we had later in early 2025. And so we completed our transition to a society in 2024. Many of you will remember that at our AGM in October 2024, and I'll let Kirsten speak a little bit more about that in a minute or two here. And then going into 2025, we've already had some great events. We've been to Earth Day in Port Coquitlam. We also attended the Port Coquitlam Community Foundation grant recipient celebration. Um, and just this past weekend, we had a pretty busy weekend. I was at the Mountain Bike Festival, which took place up on Eagle Mountain, organized by Torca. It was a great event. And then Bonnie and Mitch attended the Environmental Volunteer Celebration organized by the City of Coquitlam. And so great couple of events, and we've got more coming up in the fall with Salmon Day at Tulalum and again Salmon Come Home in Coquitlam. We're also working with our partners at the City of Coquitlam to identify other events like pop-up events in parks and things like that that we can attend. And in spring of this year, we completed a new salmon-themed outreach display to take out to these events. We hired a graphic designer and we put together this display that includes both a new banner on our society with some updated photos and text, and then some salmon-themed displays as well. We also got that was completed with a grant from the Pacific Salmon Foundation, I should say. And we also got an additional small grant from Pacific Salmon Foundation to purchase some new stewardship equipment. So we got a bunch of cleanup equipment for 15 people, as well as some furniture to keep our locker organized. And so that was completed in early, I think, March of this year. Um, and we were also approved for our Canada Summer Jobs application this year as well, which was great. So we've just recently hired a graphic designer, and she'll be updating some of our society documents like brochures that we can take out to outreach events, things like bookmarks. She's just done this new rain garden poster. And by the way, just a plug to anyone who might want to go out and water our rain garden, we're still looking for volunteers on that. So that's on our website. Yeah, that's the graphic designer role. And finally, we've also had a couple of stewardship events already. So we had a cleanup with Riverside Secondary School students and another cleanup in Gates Park with QMC water meters. And we're also looking at doing another cleanup in the fall with QMC water meters. So great interest in keeping Gates Park nice and clean. And we had our core committee presentations as well. So this year so far, Margaret Birch shared her presentation that she had given to the Muskoka Water Summit on the Coquitlam River Watershed Roundtable's experience in developing a roundtable. Later in March, we had a double header for our March meeting. So we had first Grayson Bark, who's an environmental science student at SFU, talk about tire rubber chemicals. And then we had Katty J from BC Hydro talk about updates to the water use plan. And finally, in May, we just had, some of you will recall, I'm sure, Lane Myrie came and shared the results of the pilot project that was undertaken by Kwantlen and the Coquitlam First Nations on that project to do with bacterial salmon pathogens and water toxicity. So all really interesting stuff. And yeah, with that, I'll just let Kirsten share a bit more about what the Society has been doing in 2024 and 25.
Okay, thanks, Georgia. That was a great presentation. That's a lot of work to put that together for all of us to recap everything you've done and then write it all down, but it looks really good and the pictures were great too. So for us, just for what the board's been doing, since our AGM in October, we voted in our new board, or you voted in the new board. We've had 3 board meetings. We're thankful to have Councillor Jean-Luc from the City of Coquitlam and Councillor Makura, appointed from the City of Port Coquitlam, appointed to our board, which has been great. We've opened our own, so we've had some financial housekeeping to do. Having previously had Watershed Watch act as our financial trustee for many years for the roundtable, they were no longer able to do that, so we've taken over our own financials, and we've opened our own bank account and set up lots of time on QuickBooks. Georgia's been pretty busy with doing that, and so that's been ongoing from a financial perspective. And again, thank you so much to Watershed Watch for all their help, because they were great with the transition and they've just done so much for us. So we just really appreciate them setting us off to do our own thing. We've set up 3 committees. We have a finance and audit committee, a funding committee, and a people and culture committee. And both funding and the finance committee has met several times. The funding committee, I think, last met with Margaret Birch as the chair. We actually had it it was generously in Coquitlam City Hall, and Kara Selk was there, and Councillor Jean-Luc, as well as Bonnie and Margaret. So that was great. And obviously Georgia and I got to participate as well, just on the funding needs and some funding, exciting funding goals for 2025 and beyond. Georgia created our annual report for 2024 for our key multi-funders, really all our funders, in January this year. And we met as a board and a roundtable community to create the work plan for 2025. In addition to the sector reps, and the directors were there, the roundtable community members, Councillor Chaffee from the Coquitlam First Nations also joined us and spoke at length of the importance of the society, and the roundtable to the KFM, which was really wonderful. And really, we also offered Georgia Ohm the position of executive director for the society, and thankfully she accepted, and she is here today in that role. Given that we're now a society, definitely an executive director position is important and required. We also passed a motion to welcome a new sector rep, Chris Cook from Torca, to represent our recreational sector, which was much needed and very much appreciated. And I know the roundtable also did, the core committee filled some sector rep positions in the stewardship section, which is also fantastic. I don't think I have anything else, unless if you can think of something that I've forgotten. So we would probably just move on to the financial presentation right now, Georgia, if we can. And I think the financials are sitting there. This has been presented before, but at different meetings, but I'd like everyone to take a look at the financials that we have here. They're pretty straightforward. They always have been this way. So we're just keeping consistent. We may change it up a little bit next year to a bit more traditional sort of financial reporting, but this is what we've been doing consistently for many years. So we're going to keep it this way. So what I would need today right now is a vote on accepting our approval of our financial statements for 2024.
You want a mover and a seconder?
I think I just need a vote, actually, Mary,
Okay.
for this one, because it's an AGM. So I just need to have
Okay.
a vote of every one of the members, the sector reps, to approve the financials from last year. Would I be able to get a show of hands for that? I see Nancy and Helen. Perfect.
2, 3.
Okay, then the vote is passed and the financials for 2024 have been accepted. So thank you very much, everyone.
Great.
So now, sorry, Georgia?
Sorry, I'm just trying to advance the slide here.
Oh, okay, go for it, yeah. We have no plans to change, there's no plans to change any expenditures for 2025. It's going to be very consistent with the last several years of spending. The only possible difference is trying to find other funders and really spending some more concentrated time on that. And the team has been working hard to do that. So let me just get back to here. So, and also I should just mention that we don't have our financial reviewing firm finalized, but that should be done within the next month. It's just finding someone that reviews for societies. So we just had to do some homework on that. So that should be finalized over the next month. So that's really good news. So I think we should probably move on to the special resolution that we have here, Georgia.
Okay.
And this is just a bit of housekeeping. And if Margaret or Georgia need to add to what I'm going to say here for this, and I'll just, do you have it up here, Georgia? You do. Okay, let me just get this bigger here.
Can you all see that? The text that's going to be replaced? Great, thanks.
There we go. I just have to be able to read it out. So it came, this has been something that the core committee addressed within their own, I'm going to say this properly, within their own, the Constitution that was approved in 2021 by the core committee. The Constitution of what this change is happening here, which I'll speak to here in a moment. So we just really have to just clean it. It just doesn't matter. We just need to make it updated. So we never really updated it. It was just missed. So this is something that was from 4 years ago that we are trying to just make sure it's updated. So we're we're compliant with the Register of Companies, and the Societies Act and all those things. So this was just a miss. I'm going to read it out and we're going to vote on it to see, but I'll just read it out because I need to read it out. So be it resolved as a special resolution that the existing constitution of the Coquitlam River Watershed Society, the society as filed with the Register of Companies on November 2nd, 2020, which reads, the Coquitlam River Watershed Roundtable is a multi-stakeholder body whose mission is to facilitate collaborative resolutions of urban growth and natural resources use pressures consistent with agreed community objectives and values, inform and educate people about these matters and the watershed, promote and support conservation of sustainable, healthy watershed environment. We're going to cancel that out and we are just going to simply replace it with to preserve the health of the Coquitlam River watershed through collaboration, education, and advisory action. And we're doing this to simplify it. It's come up with a few things with applying for grants and funding that this needs to read this way. And so now it's consistent and clean with all our other documents. So we would have this to be adopted as the Constitution of the Society in substitution and to the exclusion of the existing Constitution of the Society to be effective as of this date of filing with the Register of Companies. So does anyone have any questions about that, or are we, oh, Karis?
Yeah, so just curious, this is
Mhm.
changing the Constitution, but does that also change the mission of the organization?
So this is really the mission statement, is it not? Margaret, Georgia, help me with this.
Yes, this
Yes.
is
Yeah.
the mission,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's the Constitution and the mission statement.
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
to go-
yeah.
Yeah,
It
but the
actually
mission
says,
statement's within the Constitution, is it not?
yeah,
Well-
the what is part of the text in the registrar in the society's registry, when you go to enter your constitution, it actually says the mission of the society is, and then you fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And so the mission, it's the benefit of this change is that it makes everything consistent. We have our mission out there on our website. We repeat it often, and it's very much a part of our identity. And this is just, putting that mission where it asks for our mission in the society's registrar.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I like it. It's short and snappy.
Right,
It
yeah.
says everything you need to say, so.
Yeah, good, short and snappy. That's what we like. So that's really good. Yeah. So this is just improving, actually making going right down to the filings that our mission statement is consistent with our values and everything that we have all over. This is our mission statement. So just a change. So I would need a vote to approve this this special resolution, and it's just going to be a vote with a show of hands. So would I be able to get a vote with a show of hands right now from our sector rep?
If you could vote with the little hand icon, that's really helpful in that it allows me to make a count. But if you can't, then just raising your hand is great too. Thank you, Nancy.
And Sherry, I
Yeah.
think she raised her hand before as well.
I'm not sure if I'm seeing everyone.
Yeah, and it's already Nancy of Sunhead, so that's good. And yeah, and Sherry, there she is. So there you go.
Okay,
You're-
great.
Yeah, you're
Perfect.
good.
That's great.
Thank you. So the special resolution is passed. So thank you very much, everyone. So that was our big housekeeping thing we had to do there, which was pretty painless there. So
Oops.
we're gonna now probably, I think, Georgia, we can move on to the election of the board of directors
Excellent.
for 2025.
Yeah. And so basically everyone, all of the board of directors have signaled their willingness to continue into 2026, which is really good news because I think now everyone's sort of, they're comfortable in their role and there's good understanding and we're progressing really well. So it's great to know that everyone is still willing to support us. I know it can be some work getting through all of the documentation and but I'm very happy to hear that everyone is willing to stay on board.
Yeah, so that is, and then thank you, everyone. This has been an interesting first start of the board. So we're getting there for sure. So would I be able to have a vote with a show of hands to accept the slate of board of directors as presented? See,
1, 2, 3,
and there's Nancy,
4.
Karis, yeah,
Oh, and great. Thank you.
and Sherry. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, well, that is our other main task for today. I don't know if I've forgotten anything because I feel like we've gone through this pretty quickly. I was thinking we would take an hour, but we haven't needed it. Georgia, am I missing anything at all?
No, I think that actually brings us to the end. So we
You guys are
can,
just too efficient.
Wow. And I don't know if I'm gonna just, I'm sorry to say, do I have to vote to adjourn the meeting? Oh, the only other thing that we were gonna say is just the next AGM will be in June 2026. We just don't have a date confirmed yet. So we will be forwarding that off soon as it gets confirmed, but it will be in June.